The house smelled of rain and paper. Old letters sat in quiet piles, yellowed by time, untouched by courage. He sat by the window, an aging man with trembling hands, staring at an envelope he had written 30 years ago. The name on it was hers, still as clear as the day he wrote it. Maya. Outside, the storm whispered against the glass, as if reminding him of all the words he never said. He had written that letter on a night much like this one, a night soaked in rain and silence. Back then, he was young, foolish, and afraid of being seen too deeply. He had loved her more than he knew how to say, and when she left, he told everyone he didn't care. Everyone, except the paper. The letter held everything he couldn't speak: apologies, confessions, the small truth that his pride had swallowed whole. But he never sent it, because when the morning came, the fear returned that sending it would make him weak, that forgiveness would expose him. So he folded it, sealed it, and buried it beneath a drawer of things meant for later. And later became a lifetime. Now, 3 decades later, her name still trembled in his mind. He had heard, through an old friend, that she'd passed away quietly last winter, far from here, far from him. No goodbyes, no closure, just distance, and the heavy ache of what could have been. He unfolded the letter once more. The ink had faded, but the truth was still sharp. The words cut differently now, softer, wiser, older. Every line was a mirror reflecting the man he once was. "I'm sorry," it began, "for loving you through silence, for letting my ego speak louder than my heart." He could almost hear her laugh again, that soft, unguarded sound that once made the world seem simple. He could see her in the glow of the rainlight, sitting beside him, telling him that forgiveness doesn't always wait for apologies. "And yet," he whispered to the air, "I waited too long, didn't I?" The room didn't answer. Only the rain did, steady, indifferent, forgiving. He thought of the years that followed her absence, the people he met, the jobs he worked, the nights he distracted himself with noise. How every fleeting joy seemed to circle back to one unanswered letter. He realized that regret isn't born from what we lose, but from what we hold back. The words we never send, the love we never confess, the peace we postpone. He folded the letter again, gently this time, like something sacred. He placed it inside a new envelope, wrote her name once more, and this time he didn't seal it. He placed it near the window, under the sound of the rain, and whispered, "Maybe this is enough. Maybe some letters find their way without stamps." He stayed there for hours, watching the storm move across the sky. Memories came and went, like shadows on water, laughter, silence. The last time he saw her eyes. He thought about forgiveness, how it had always seemed like a thing that required permission. But tonight, he understood. Forgiveness isn't something you give to someone else. It's the moment you stop punishing yourself for what you didn't know back then. He closed his eyes, and for the first time in years, his heart felt light. Because even though he never sent the letter, he had finally read it not to her, but to himself. He whispered her name once more, not in sorrow this time, but in gratitude. Because she had been the lesson, he never forgot the proof that love, even unfinished, can still teach us how to heal. The rain began to fade into silence. The air smelled of earth and forgiveness. He stood, walked to the small fireplace, and held the letter over the flame. Not in anger, not in grief, but in release. The paper curled, glowed, and turned to ash, carrying his words into the quiet night. And as the last ember faded, he smiled through the ache in his chest. Because he finally understood the letter was never meant to reach her. It was meant to reach him. And in that quiet, as the rain disappeared into dawn, he felt her presence one last time. Soft, forgiving, infinite. He whispered, "I'm sorry." And in the silence that followed, he finally heard what he'd been waiting to hear all his life. "I know." The morning broke gently over the horizon. The house, once heavy with regret, now breathed with peace. The ashes of the letter drifted across the air like forgiveness taking flight. And as he watched them disappear into light, he realized something unspoken but true. Some words are never meant to be sent. They're meant to set you free. And in the ashes of what he never said, he found the peace he'd been searching for all along.